So good afternoon, my name's Ian Taylor and welcome to the Evident Proof demo. So we run these demos twice weekly at around 10 a.m. on a Tuesday and 4 p.m. on a Thursday London time. And the purpose of the demo is really to give you an overview of what the Evident Proof platform or service is, how it works. And then what I'll do is I'll run through a sample workflow from one of our clients looking at how they use the Evident Proof system to store their data immutably. So what is Evident Proof? Evident Proof is an enterprise platform for storing immutable proof of evidence. So what does that mean and why is this important to a business? So the technology works in a way where we take your data or a hash of your data structure and we convert that into something called a proof seal, which can be stored in an immutable way on a technology called the blockchain. Now, the blockchain has some unique properties as it stores data in a decentralized, distributed way across thousands of computers, meaning that the data is stored in a way where it's basically unhackable. So storing data in a mutable way means that it can't be changed, it can't be tampered with, and it can't be hacked. So because of the way that the Evident Proof service stores your data, you could then take it later down the line to be used in a court of law. And this could be a patent scenario or an audit or a compliance scenario. So we essentially would give you proof of your evidence. So we have a number of clients using the system today. One of them is the largest supplier of government taxi licensing solutions to the UK local governments. Now, effectively, their line of business solution deals with the checks and balances around the governance of issuing a taxi license. So why would they need to store that data in a mutable way? Well, earlier this year, there were a number of articles in the press which stated that last year alone, 150,000 taxi licenses were issued to drivers, and some of those had criminal convictions, drink driving bans. There were a number of misdemeanors, and obviously this isn't good at all. From this point of view, there's a big burden of proof on the company, and more importantly, the local government, to prove that they carried out these checks and balances on the individuals before they gave them the licenses. Now, this is to prove that the results weren't somehow falsified by the drivers whoever gained access to their data. So using the Evident Proof service, they're able to prove that these checks and balances have been made and the data hasn't been tampered with. So we can't show you the full line of business application that the taxi licensing software has, but what we can do is show you a trimmed down version in a standalone demo, which effectively just shows creating a taxi license and then pushing that data to the Evident Proof system, which is converted into a proof seal and then stored immutably in a distributed fashion on the blockchain network. So let's run through typically how the platform would work. So if we take, for example, what we're looking at here, this could be somebody's line of business application, and it would be relevant to their line of business. In this case, we're using the taxi license as an example. So what I will do is very quickly just run through and add some data into the system, confirming that the license is active, confirming that there's a criminal record check that's been performed. Now, what we're seeing here is a very basic form for collecting data. There could be hundreds of pieces of data all linked behind these, and we would expect that to be the case. And a lot of our clients have fairly complex data requirements that they need to store through the Evident Proof system. So I'm also going to confirm that I've done an identity check. I'm going to put in the licensing. The identity check, again, this could be any data that sits behind this that could be uploaded to the platform. And now I'm going to create the license. So really, this is just showing you that this could be a line of business application, and that data is being pushed through to the Evident Proof platform. And we're now going to have a look at what that data looks like and what process has gone on. So if we come into the Evident Proof platform here, if we go into the proof seals, you can see that this proof seal here has just been created by the data that I was submitted. And if we go in here, we can see what the data looks like. So let's describe a little bit about this. At the top, we've got a dispatched ID. So this is the API call into the service, and it's a dispatch of the evidence data records into the evident proof service. And then we've got the dispatch evidence itself. So let's run through the structure of the evidence a little bit. The evidence is in a fixed schema, and this is something that we'd have worked with you to set up, and it's the way that you present your data to us. So this fixed schema is what ensures that we correlate the evidence and the proof stored on the blockchain. So we've got the PSUX reference here. So this is a cross reference, and it allows you to check. And this key is the key that relates back to the same data in your line of business application. Now, this data could really be anything. It could be a single key or a compound key or an ID or an asset. And this is whatever you need it to correlate back to the source data in your systems. So we then got the actual key itself. So the key and the value, and you'll be quite familiar with that if you're a software developer, as a way of storing evidence. And in this scenario, as you can see, we're only storing a single key. In fact, in a dispatch, you could store many pieces of evidence, and these could be forms, documents, however you want to store this data. And then we've got the JSON here. So the JSON representative is of the forms data, and this could be a single field, multiple fields, or it could be a mass of data considering the English dictionary. So we then got a proof seal here at the bottom. So this is a hash of all this data effectively, and it's what the proof seal is used for, is for a checksum verification of all the data. And none of your data is revealed within this seal, but it does prove your data. We've then got the proof, the receipt success, and this is the receipt that's returned to you by the API call. And effectively, this receipt is your method of saying this data has been immutably stored on the evident proof platform. And the key here is how I could use this key to navigate back to the evident proof data. So the proof certificate here, this is literally a document that pulls together all of the information that we've discussed, and you can present this to a court of law, and it would confirm that the data was stored on the blockchain in a certain way through the evident proof platform. So we're a year down the line, and we've had somebody challenge the integrity of a particular piece of data, and we therefore need to go back and prove that data so we can now generate a proof certificate. So there's a number of ways of doing that, mainly through an API call, but I'm going to click on the proof certificate here. It immediately creates the proof certificate at the bottom. So when we create a proof certificate, what happens is that we put out a request, and this goes off to the blockchain and checks the data and the seal, and then finally checks that it matches the source data. So as you can see, all of the data on the proof certificate is fairly familiar, apart from the evidence verified true and the transaction ID. So the transaction ID is the key here, really, and this certifies that the information could be presented and make sure that it's provable in this taxi license example that I've just shown you. So as you can see, what we have here is a very basic data structure. Anything that we do with our clients is obviously taking their existing line of business applications, looking at the governance behind that data, and then transcribing that through as part of the service that we do. And all the proof certificates are also customizable too. So if you've got any questions, please put them over on Telegram. Otherwise, I look forward to speaking to you next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Thank you.